welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. And if you are new here, make sure you go and hit the subscribe button down below and help support my channel. Also make sure you hit the bell notification button right next to the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more of my videos. And as you can tell by today's title, I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit my YouTube videos with Final Cut Pro. I recently just got the 3-month trial, so I wanted to film this video because I've kind of been learning as I go with it, and I also would look up videos if I needed help trying to figure out how to do something. So I was like, why not film me and how I edit my videos, because I do some cool text, some cool transitions, and some cool effects. And I just want to teach you guys if you guys are new to Final Cut Pro and are interested in learning how to use it, and also to see if it's worth the money at the end. So that's what I'm going to be telling you guys at the end of this video, if I think it's personally worth it after my 3 months are up. So if you want to learn how I edit my videos and some tips and tricks of how to navigate Final Cut Pro, then just keep on watching. So I got the 3-month trial a couple of weeks ago, so I wanted to make sure I film this video so that you guys can also go and get your 3-month trial if you guys want to test it out, or even buy it afterwards. So all you need to do is go onto Google and search up Final Cut Pro free trial, and it should take you there with the first link. It'll take you to Apple, and then you can just download it, and it actually keeps a timer, so every time you open Final Cut Pro it'll tell you how many days you have until it's going to expire. So I also have a list of everything, so if I'm looking down it's because I'm trying to make sure that I share with you guys everything that I do, just so I don't miss out on anything. So the first thing I do before I get into Final Cut Pro is I pull out my external hard drive, which I'll have it linked down below if you guys are interested. It's great to keep all of your, you can keep your Final Cut Pro library on here and all your footage, so it's all in one place and it won't take up too much storage on your actual computer. So after you plug it in, you just go to your desktop and the little external hard drive will pop up on your desktop, and you will just click it and you will open up your library. And now I am in Final Cut Pro. So the video that I'm going to be kind of walking you guys through how I would edit it is actually a vlog that will probably either be up before this or after this. But I import the footage by just also plugging in my card from my vlog camera, and I will just plug it in and import all the footage directly into Final Cut Pro by again clicking on the external hard drive, and then the other disc will pop up and it'll just import them all, which you guys are probably looking at right now on the screen. And so once I'm in my Final Cut Pro, I will click on the library that I want to start editing my videos, and it'll pop right up into my timeline. So the first thing I like to do, everyone is different with how they edit their videos and the steps they do and the order they do it. But the first thing I do is after I import all my footage, I have to go back and import my intro. So I go back into this little section on the left hand side, and I go back to whatever date it has. It will tell you, like, this one is October 1st, I made that intro. So I'll just go in and drag my intro into the timeline. Next thing I import is the other loading transition that I like to put after my intro, so it kind of all blends in nicely before the video actually starts. So I import that into my timeline right after my intro where my name is. Some people like to edit as they go and import all of the effects as they go, or some people just straight cut first. Sometimes it depends for me. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll make cuts first, or if I think about something while I'm in that moment, I'll just do that quick edit right then and there. So after I import my intro title and the little load up starter screen, I like to speed that up a little bit. So when you want to speed something up, you just click here on this little timer and go to fast, and I just click it for ×2. And then after that, I normally like to do a blur transition. So when you want to go to transitions, you go to the right hand side and you go to the install transitions, and I will just go to blurs, and I'll use this one right here and I'll put it, and then you can trim the transition so that it doesn't take up too much time, and then you can watch it back to see how it flows. So I don't like to do too much, and then I'll just go back and see how much I want. Now I'm gonna go in and kind of rough cut, and usually in the beginnings for my montages, I already know for my montages that I want the volume to be completely off because I'm just going to be playing music in the background. So I'll go in and cut, and to cut is really easy. It's Command B, so I'll just go in and take the little marker and scroll through, because I already know which part is going to get cut for the most part. Usually like the end of it so that it flows nice and easily to the next clip. So I just click Command B, delete, and then I'm just going to lower the volume of everything up until I'm going to be talking. So I'm just going to lower all the volumes and cut out any unnecessary parts that I don't want anymore. And also in my beginning montages, I usually speed it up a little bit. So again, you just go to this icon and you click fast. And you can also adjust it. You don't have to do exactly 2 times. You can drag it to make it a little faster. Also in the clips that I am talking, you can tell when I took a pause or just completely stopped talking if I messed up. And I go in and delete those clips really easily. So now I'm gonna go and show you guys how to add some text. So I usually like to add text right in the beginning of my video, kind of to title what the video is kind of going to be like, so when people are clicking on my videos they can see right from the beginning if it's something they're actually going to be interested in, and it'll give them a clue of what the whole video is going to be about. So I really recommend doing that. So to go to the text, you go to the left hand side where the little T is, and then you can click a title that you like from here. I usually go to custom and grab that one. I drag it over the part where I want to place it, and lately for Final Cut Pro I've been placing 2 titles. One of them I like to pop up first, and then the other one with a different font I like to do after. So I'll drag my custom one first, click on the title part, and it'll bring you to this right hand side where you can type what you want to type. So I'm going to title this one My Last College Vlog of the Semester. And then I usually like to use this font, the Helvetica, and I'll do bold oblique. Then if you scroll down you can do cool effects to it, which I've been really liking. So I will go to, usually I keep the face white, I'll go to outline, check the box off, click show, and it can let you choose a whole bunch of different colors that you want. Usually I just keep the outline black, and then I'll increase the width so that you can actually see the black outline a little bit. And then you can either do glow. I also like to do a drop shadow, so I'll check that box off and hit show again and change the color. So I just play around. Each video for me I like to use a different drop shadow, but then I also keep that same theme throughout that whole video. Like I don't change the colors in one video, I keep it all the same. So I'm gonna choose this tealish blue color, tealish green, and I'm going to raise the opacity up and also increase the distance so that you can actually see the shadow. Now I'm going to drag the text. I want it to the bottom right here. So now I'm going to add my other text right on top of it. So I'm going to drag custom again. But this time I like to use a different font. So for this one I like to use the handwriting Dakota font. And then what I like to do is I'm going to write finals day 2 and 3 because that's what this vlog is going to consist of. And then I like to outline it. I'm not going to do a drop shadow, I'm just going to outline it in the same color that I did my drop shadow, so it kind of looks all put together. And then I'm going to drag it underneath my other text. And then I'm going to shorten it so that they both end at the same time. And now it flows really nicely. Next, I'm going to show you guys some other transitions that I like to do. So if I wanted to transition from after me doing my final into now I'm going to make breakfast, so it's like 2 different times, I like to use the slide or I like to use the static. So I'm going to show you both of them. So you go into transitions, and underneath all you can search on the bottom, and I'm going to type in static, and then it's going to pop up, and you just drag it in between where you want to place it. This on the touchpad, you can just adjust how long you want it, and then you can go back and watch it. So it's just a quick little transition. And now I'm going to show you guys the other one that I like to use. I like to use the slide one. So for the slide one, I like to make it really short, so it's like a quick transition. And then when I use a slide, I like to also add in a sound effect. So in order to get sound effects, you go to the middle, the top left, and you go to sound effects. And the main ones that I like to use, I'm going to show you the bottle cork one later, but for my slide transition, I like to use golf hit. So that's how it sounds. And then I'm going to drag it underneath the slide. So now as it transitions, it's just really quick, and I really like that one a lot. I use that a bunch of times. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you guys is another way of kind of transitioning into a new scene. So in this vlog, I showed you guys how I made my iced latte. So I want to do kind of like a blank text, a blank background with text on top. So to do that, they have generators. So under where the text is, you go to generators, and there's a lot to choose from. So I like to use the pastel one just because it's like a light pink. I drag it into where I want it right before I'm about to make my coffee, and then again I add text right on top of it. And another effect that I like to do on my text is I like to use bad TV, and I like to use earthquake. So right now I'm going to show you the bad TV one. So you go into effects this time, which is right next to where we have our transitions, and you can search up bad TV. So then I'm going to drag it and place it onto the text, and this is how it's going to be looking. It just gives it a nice little shake movement, and then I go in and again Command B to cut it so it's not too long, and then it's going to transition right before I make my coffee. Now since I have a nice effect, I want to add the bottle cork sound effect so that it, you know, gets the viewer's attention when it pops up on the screen. So for this, I go back into sound effects and I just type in bottle cork. It's just like a popping sound. So this is how it sounds like, and I like to sometimes raise the volume, and you can just go to the top right. I raise it up, and then that's how it sounds. So for my voiceover, since for this iced latte I wasn't talking while I was making it, so I would do a voiceover. Go to the top, and you would click window, record voiceover, and then this little box will pop up. Click the red button and it's going to give you a countdown so you know exactly where you're going to be in, and you just talk and say whatever you want to say for that clip. So I'm going to be talking about how I go through my steps of my latte, and then you can just click stop. And sometimes the voiceovers tend to sound a little bit low, so you can go and click on it, highlight it, and then just raise the volume a little bit. I'm going to show you guys the next text effect that I like to use. So let's say during my test I wanted to type in, usually I like to, if I'm not talking and I'm doing a montage, I will put in text to describe what I'm doing. So let's say I added a text here, and then I would go back into my effects and type in earthquake. You drag it onto the text, and this one gives it a shake during the transition. Now another sound effect that I like to use is a click. So I have the bottle cork that I showed you guys. I have the golf hit for my transition, and now I use one called click continuous. This one I found off of the audio library and I saved it, so you can do the same thing. And I just drag it into my timeline and I cut it short so that it's just one click, because it's different speeds of clicking. I just use the beginning part. So I just drag it to where the text begins and I raise the volume of that, and it just sounds like a mouse click. So another thing that I like to do is with the speeds, I like to kind of blade one part of it, and like for example this time I was pouring my milk into my coffee, so I want to leave the front of it normal, and then I'll cut it in half and speed up the part where the milk is going inside of the coffee. So I will just go in, Command B, and the other half of it I will go back and speed it up to about the ×4, so then when you play it back it just flows really nicely. So that's something I like to do if I'm doing like a cleaning montage or something where I'm working or typing, so I'll just leave it nice and slow in the beginning and then speed it up really fast afterwards. Another thing I'm going to show you guys is when I do a crop in zoom. So you're going to go into a clip where you want to zoom in. I'm just going to pick a random clip right now. So when you want to do a crop zoom, you go in and you just click Command B and blade in the 2 parts that you want. So you're just narrowing down that specific clip, and then you drag your marker wherever you want it to zoom in on. You go to this little crop tool, click crop, and then make sure it's on the crop, because there's trim, there's crop, and then there's Ken Burns. And you crop it to exactly where you want it to, like, kind of zoom in on. The next one I usually do also is the Ken Burns, so I'll show you a different clip with that. So again, you would blade the 2 sections in which you want to start the Ken Burns. You go into the crop tool, but this time click Ken Burns, and you can drag where you want it to end. So I'm just going to do this randomly. I wouldn't usually Ken Burns this scene, but just to show you guys, for example. And then it will zoom into that part. So the way that I go and get a border around a clip is I go back to generators where the text is. I pick that same pastel, place it down in the timeline, and then drag the clip that I want to place on top of it. Just drag it right on top of it. Go to the crop tool again, but this time hit transform, so you just are going to be minimizing the clip so that it looks like it has a border. And it has markings so that you know that your clip is perfectly in the center of the screen, and then it'll just play with the border behind it. Another thing that I like to do is if I want to have a picture within my video pop up on the screen, if I'm showing something as an example, you just go to your photos, you grab the picture that you want to place on, and then go back to the transform tool and resize it and place it wherever you want to place it. If you wanted to take up the whole screen and just have your audio in the background, like I am doing for most of this video right here that you guys are watching, then you can just drag it completely and leave it right above your right above the clip that you want it to focus on. On Final Cut Pro, you can save a clip as your thumbnail, so I do that a lot during my vlogs if I forget to take actual pictures of things. So I would just go in and go to the clip that I want to save. I'll leave the marker right on top of it, and then on the top right hand corner you're going to click Save Current Frame, click Next, and I just type in whatever it's going to be titled just so I know what it is. So I'll just put coffee thumbnail and save it. The last thing that I'm going to be showing you guys is how I put my music. So usually afterwards, for like my montage, like I know in the beginning I took off all of the volume because I wasn't speaking. I just play some music, so I'll go into this little middle icon and click music, and I'll scroll through and just kind of play around with which one I want to fit that certain scene. So I picked this one, and a lot of the times I get my music from Hello Thematic. That's a great app that you can get free music. You don't have to pay for anything. You download it, and then in your description box you just make sure you go in and copy and paste the link so you don't get copyrighted. Another way I do it is I go to YouTube and I'll search up non-copyrighted music, and usually in the description it'll have like a download link. You can also go in if you want effects, like I was telling you, sometimes I do that little transition where it's like the TV static beep, and I just go onto YouTube and search up the same thing that I want, like TV VHS beep. So for other music I just really either use the audio library, but that's not really that often, but mainly I use Hello Thematic. So I'll go in and grab the sound that I want, I'll drag it to the bottom, and what I like to do is I like to take the little pointer and drag it so it blends in. It's not really harsh in the beginning, and then I'll cut it where I start to talk, like I'm going to start talking for my voiceover. So I'll cut the audio, and then I'll drag the little cursor so that it's not too loud right when I'm going to start talking, because it doesn't sound nice. You want it to blend out nice and softly. And then for the other clip of the music, I'm just going to drag it down so that when I'm talking you can still kind of hear it, but it's really low in the background. So that is basically it for all of my tips and tricks and little things that I do during my YouTube videos. And I really like how Final Cut Pro is. I like all of the effects because on iMovie, I use iMovie too, and it works great. It's perfectly fine, but there's just so much more you can do on Final Cut Pro, like making the text shake. You can do so many different pop-ups at a time, whereas iMovie, you can't really stack your text or your effects. You can't really stack them that much. I think it only allows you to do 1 or 2, whereas in Final Cut Pro you can do as many as you want and just make it really fun and different. So I really like that about Final Cut Pro. And another thing I like is the part where you can speed it up however much you want and drag it, so it's like super fast, but then it'll go back to normal like I showed you guys earlier. So I really do like Final Cut Pro and all of the different things you can do with it. So after 3 months, I'm really thinking about getting it and purchasing it for myself, because I feel like it's a great investment. I really do think that it's worth it for all of the things you can do for it, and I just really am so happy with it. And I'm really happy that they have the 3-month trial so that I can like still use it and still navigate and find more cool things to do with my videos to make them even better quality. So I really recommend it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching how I edit my YouTube videos. Each video is kind of different depending on the type of video I'm filming, if it's a sit-down video, but I do like to add the same effects here and there, like the little pop-ups, to make it more interesting and not boring, so that the person does not leave the video. And that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you have any other questions regarding Final Cut Pro or anything else, feel free to leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'll also appreciate if you guys would comment down below any other video suggestions you have, and I'll see you guys all in my next video.